Hey, what's up traders, welcome to Forex Gym. My name is George and this is daily Forex analysis for 16th of March 2020. In this video today I'm going to be analyzing four currency pairs, starting with US dollar against Japanese yen, euro against Australian dollar, US dollar against Canadian dollar, and lastly we're going to analyze British pounds against US dollar. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. I'm making daily and weekly Forex analysis. Also, a lot of useful tips on how to improve your trading, which will help you to become a better trader. Starting with the US dollar against Japanese yen from the daily chart, we can see that price had this nice bar on Friday and it closed nicely, but over the weekends it gapped on yesterday when the price opened. It gapped about 130 pips, which is quite a decent gap. We had also significant news out on Sunday on the US dollar and New Zealand dollar side. They were both significant news, so it's also impacted the markets. When we have seen, I think it gapped twice. If you let me go to a shorter time frame, it gapped twice. So on Sunday it gapped, it has this big gap and then created this small candle, and then when it's closed here it has a gap for another, I think it was about 30 or 35 pips down here, and opened again here, made this weak and went up and closed like this. So it gapped twice. Okay, let's do a top-down approach, go to the daily time frame and then start drilling down from there. So the price had this retracement, which is still a retracement. If you judge it from the weekly time frames, the higher time frames, this is still, it has this decent retracement, and I'm definitely waiting for this one to go more downside. Let's drill down to the shorter time frames. I would want to see a bit more confirmation, a bit more strength coming in towards bearish sides. Then I'll be looking to get onto the short side. If the price comes down and ideally takes out this spike low down here, and then I would be looking for these to retrace a bit up where currently the price is at the moment, which is at 106.30 zone. I will be looking to retrace around up here, and then I will be putting the orders to get onto the short side. And for the stop losses, we'll be looking around 25 pip stop. I know it's going to be a bit too tight for these particular market conditions, but because for the target we would be looking around here where that weekly pivot stands at the moment, which is around the 105.50 zone. That's why I would prefer to have a tighter stop and get stopped out and then re-enter the trade if the opportunity arises, and then my risk reward is going to stay pretty good and it's not going to affect my risk reward. But obviously if we have a wider stop loss, then it will affect the risk reward. So I prefer to take a loss and then re-enter the position with the good risk reward rather than have a wider stop, and then that would impact my risk reward. So over the long run that's better. For the short-term traders, if you're scalping, then my view is still the same towards the short side. And for now, I would be looking, if you're scalping, I'll be looking the price to come up with around here. It's 106.50. The problem with the scalp trading, and if I analyze it, and by the time I get this video uploaded, this market view can change, because it's shorter term trading and we're looking at the short term time frames. It can change in the next hour. For now, what I can see is that if the price comes up around 106.50, where you got this high up here, and also there is a 5-minute high, if I'm not mistaken. What was it? Yeah, the 5-minute high at the same level, then as a good for the short side, and as of the target will be down to this zone, which is at 106.05, roughly around that zone. We got these lows down here, and as of the stop losses goes, let's have a look at the 5-minute charts. So the price, if you come up at 106.50, 50, it would be looking around 10 pip stops should be a decent risk reward, and it's also give you a decent risk reward if you run it down to here. 12 pips is still a good 1 to 4 risk reward. The next currency, we got euro against Australian dollar, starting with the daily charts. And as I mentioned on my weekly analysis, I still expect for this currency to come down. However, we see that this currency looking very strong and starting to edge even higher. It doesn't really show that the price wants to retrace for now. But the problem with this one is because it's been going up just one way with a very little retracement. When I see that it's only a matter of time when the market it goes higher and then something will affect it and it just have this sudden move towards opposite direction, which in this case is going to be to the downside. Generally has the aggressive reaction to the opposite side when it's when the market is just going one way with a very little retracement. So be aware of that. But for now, as I can see, it's looking very bullish. So I do want to see a retracement on this one, a bit more retracement. It did have this retracement down here at it was a 180, 117 or 15 zone. You see that weak spike down here. It did not quite get to these highs. I got these highs here. It's 180, 106 zone. So I do want to see this price to come down here, maybe after the 8 a.m. pivots for 8 a.m. 4-hourly candle is closed, and then it comes down here. Would look nice. Also depends how this candle is gonna close in the next 50 minutes. So if it closes nicely strong like this and then it retraces, then I will be interested to get onto the long side. And as of the targets, let's have a look at the targets. We use the daily for this one. This monthly R1 looks like a good target at 102.90 zone. It's here, it's up here where you got this red line. You can see that, but make sure to use a stop loss because it can anytime happen that price can have a reaction towards downside and could be aggressive, and also there is a possibility of slippage. So if you don't use stop losses and the market moves pretty quick and you don't even have a stop loss, and you're gonna put yourself in the mercy of the market, and trust me, it won't be good. Now let's discuss entries, exit, and stop losses. So for the 4-hour chart, when this candle closes at in another 45 minutes, and then price retraces down to this level, which is at 180, 100 roughly, then we would be looking to get onto the long side. With a stop wise will be about 50 pips. This currency moves a lot, so you need to give some room to breathe. Maybe even a bit more, maybe 60 to 70 pips for that. Let's have a look. Yes, 70 pips would be good because that will be almost the same. Halfway of this candle will be down here. Still good, but you can get away with the 50 pip stops. And for the targets, we would be looking and targeting this monthly R3, which stands at 182.90 zone. 182.90 zone. Also keep in mind that you do not have to target the exact number, which is at 182.91. You don't have to always get this right at the number, because price likes to come up, maybe get very close to this target, and if you have a profit target at the same level, the price just can get up there and then start falling down and just leave you out of it, which is very frustrating. It happened to me but if you're a new trader, it will be very frustrating for you, and it might be even a retracement, but then you will be thinking that, okay, I'm gonna bank these profits because the price is going against me, before you see that price continuing towards your target direction, and that's not a pleasant feeling, especially for the new traders whose mindset not developed yet. So you can have your targets just under the main this zone. So in this case, if the target is at 182.91, you can have it a bit lower, a couple of pips, so will be about 182.88 maybe. Also, you should know what how much your brokerage charges for the spreads. If it's like 2 pips spread you paying for your broker, then you should know that maybe you need to lower a bit more. We continue with the US dollar against Canadian dollar, starting with the daily charts, and this currency also gapped, and as the most of the currencies had the gap for over 100 pips. So I'm going to start just analyzing from the higher time frames to drill down to the shorter time frames. I did mention on my weekly analysis that I would expecting this currency to have a bit more retracement, but we can see that today it's showing quite a bit of bullish strength, so I'm starting to doubt, but it's not confirmed yet until it breaks these highs here and even these highs. But I would be looking, this is my entry, that's what I'm looking at, this is my entry towards short side. And if you drill down to the an hourly chart, the way it's coming up, we can see that these candles doesn't show much strength, apart from these candles, depending also how, okay, it's gonna close in about a minute, so it looks decent, it still looks decent. Let's see what it's gonna do in the next hour or two. I would still waiting for this one to come up at 139.20 zone. We got these highs here, then I will be willing to short and take the risk if the market is going to continue towards downside. If not, then I'm going to get stopped out and I'm going to take a small loss, and there's nothing wrong with it. And if it starts going higher, and certainly if it starts breaking this high, then I would be switching to the long side for sure. So for the trades concerned, as of now, the entry would be around the 139.20. So you will need about 30 pips stop at the very minimum, up to 50 pips. But as I mentioned, I like to keep my stops tight, and because it does not won't affect my risk reward as much, and risk reward is for me is at least very important. For the target, 137.80 is a good target to have. So we got this multiple lows in here and highs, so it's a good place to target, but I'll be holding down to the lower, which I did mention it on my weekly analysis, which is at 137.10. And lastly, we got cable or British pounds against US dollar, starting with the daily chart. The pound looks very weak, and we're gonna go straight to the entries and exit. I'm definitely looking for this to go more down, and for the entry I'm waiting for this one to come up, for the price to come up about these highs here, then I will be looking to short it, which is actually not that far away. So I have this marker here, so if it comes up close, then it will notify me for the other. I can have a look at and place the order. So it's about 40 pips away, not too far, because the markets are moving quite a lot, and also a good opportunities in the market. So I'm waiting for this one to come up here. Let's say it will be about 23.95 zone, and stops above to these highs, so roughly about 35 pip stops. And as of the targets, we go down to I think I did mention in one of my videos, I can't remember which one it was, the target would be at 122.15 around that zone, which gives it's a decent risk rewards, more than 1 to 3 risk rewards, so it's pretty good. Let's have a look at any scalping opportunities. For the scalping, but again, by the time I publish this video, is probably gonna be, this opportunity will be gone already. For the scalping would be going up. I'm definitely expecting this one to push a bit higher, so the level of entry I mentioned for the short side, which is at 123.90 zone. So if the price comes down about here at 123.32, then and stops will be down to around 10 pips, maybe 12 pips, and run it to on this level up here at 123.90 area. You have also this 4-hourly R1, so it comes pretty much they come together, and of course it's going to change in next, was it at 8 a.m., but it shouldn't be too far from each other. Thank you guys for watching. This was daily Forex analysis for 16th of March 2020. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe. I'm making daily and weekly Forex analysis, also a lot of useful tips about trading, which will help you to become a better trader. Have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.